And another great day in this greatest nation on God's green earth. Also want to talk about a problem involving the Muslim faith here in the United States, where it may shock you. Hold on to your seats, okay? Slow down the car, no crashes, no terrible reactions. I right now on this issue very strongly and passionately agree with some of my Muslim fellow citizens and some of the Muslim religious officials who are in the right, and there are some people on the conservative side who are just terribly, terribly misguided and horribly wrong. And I was thinking about whether to take up this issue. I think this is a deep and important issue, and it's really important to get this right. If conservatives, particularly those of us who consider ourselves religious conservatives, are to have any credibility at all, you have to support the right of Muslim students to pray the way they want to pray at Duke University. 1-800-955-1776. This is a big issue where you have to stay on top of it because the latest is a reverse by the university. A huge controversy erupted yesterday, last night really, because Duke University, which is not a Christian university, it was started as a Christian university, as most American universities were. I mean, Yale, Harvard, Princeton was a Presbyterian seminary. I said cemetery, seminary. And most American universities did start with an explicitly Christian purpose. At Yale, they only had compulsory Christian chapel every day at Yale. Every day until 1910. And then they used to still have official university chapel until 1945, 46. And Yale, deeply Christian, Puritan heritage, really. Duke University, Methodist heritage. However, it is now an independent university. It has a leading Islamic studies center, and it's a good thing. The Islamic Studies Center at Duke has not been taken over by radicals. The Muslim officials and the students at Duke and the people who are speaking out on this are perfect examples of what we want. When I say what we want, they are patriotic Americans, as American as apple pie, who happen to follow the Muslim faith. Is that possible? Of course it's possible. Of course it's possible. And if you just listen to them speaking about this, they've been holding prayer services at the Duke University Chapel for many years. When I say many years, we're talking about 20, 30, not just 2 or 3. They've had these prayer services. The prayer services are well attended. They get more than 100 people who come every Friday. And that's one of the reasons we're talking about today. What they had wanted to do was to be able to announce their prayer services the same way that Duke announces its Christian services. Now, I don't know how well the Christian services are attended at Duke. It's a beautiful chapel. I've been there. Duke's a beautiful campus, great university. I was actually at Duke speaking there one of the nights that Duke won the national championship in basketball, and there was a huge bonfire on campus afterward, and people were getting a bit rowdy, and there may have been some alcoholic beverages consumed. But, okay, I have a warm feeling for Duke University for lots of reasons. And right now, the idea that you are going to turn down the right of Muslim students and faculty to announce their prayer services by their traditional adhan, the call to prayer. I know. Somebody's going to call and say, well, Obama said that was the most beautiful thing he ever heard. What he said, and it was shocking at the time, and we talked about it at the time, in an interview with Nick Kristof, he said that one of the most beautiful sounds I can remember was that sound of the adhan, the call to prayer at sunset in Indonesia when he was a little boy. And okay, you either like the sound or it gives you the creeps. I do not like the sound because mostly when I hear it is in Jerusalem, where, by the way, the freedom to have a call to prayer, there's more religious freedom for Muslims in that country than anywhere in the world. But we'll leave that aside for a moment. Duke University. What's the problem with them having an announcement? And it was not going to be an announcement heard all over the campus. It wasn't going to be bellowed. It was going to be amplified. Now what they're asking for is just the right to give the adhan, have somebody say it out loud on the steps of the chapel, announcing that they're going to be having their prayers. if Christians are allowed to ring bells, which are heard all over the campus, and obviously it's a bell tower, that's what it's for, and they should be allowed to do that. And you can say, what about Jews? Jews have services in the chapel. Jews tend not to announce our call to prayer. Hey, come to shul, Moish. It's time. And we don't have to. I mean, yeah, right now, yeah, not so much a desire to ask people to come to synagogue in France and in Belgium and in the United Kingdom. They're sending troops to defend some of those beautiful synagogues in London. It's so heartbreaking. We can't get to that here. And one of the ways to avoid getting to that is to avoid, I mean, Franklin Graham is a great American. I admire him very greatly. I'm very friendly to him. I support Samaritan's Purse. He gave an awful statement. His statement that has caused a lot of the controversy, he's Billy Graham's son, of course, and I don't think Billy would have done this. He said, as Christianity is being excluded from the public square and followers of Islam are raping, butchering, and beheading Christians, Jews, and anyone who doesn't submit to their Sharia Islamic law, Duke is promoting this in the name of religious pluralism. I call on the donors and alumni to withhold their support from Duke until this policy is reversed. And then a typical tweet in response to that came in, will Coach K and his team now bow down and face Mecca before each game? This is just wrong. This is just wrong. On what basis would you deny Muslim students, who are there 700 Muslim students of the 15,000 at Duke? That's not a small number. That's a large number. They get 100 people for these prayer services. You want to make them feel unwelcome? You want to say that the Duke is for Christians only? Or for Christians and Jews only? You can't do that. Not at an independent university.